Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to InvestorYOU. This is the show where I co-host with Derek Carmichael, and we talk about investing. And it can be investing in you. It can be investing you're doing in real estate, in startups, in business, in people, in the community, whatever it is. We're talking about it. We talk a lot about real estate, and today we're very lucky and blessed to have Mandi Gribbin on the show with us. She certainly fits that investing in real estate world. She lives it, eats it, and breathes it, just like Derek does, and I try. But we are excited to be back after a little hiatus. Welcome, y'all. How's everybody doing today?
What's up, everybody?
What's up? I'm on fleek. I'm gonna look that up. So that was before we get to Mandi, our special guest, Derek, tell them a little bit about you and what you are doing.
Absolutely. What's going on, everybody? You already know, your hard money lender, private money, investor, fix and flips, new construction, working my tail off to get Ted's giant 110 unit deal done. He's pimping me out. Never been worked like this in my life, but I love it. You guys already know. Hit my inbox and I can help you out with whatever your real estate needs are.
Perfectly said. I like it. Keep working. Mandi, I'm so excited to have you on the show. We've met a couple of times, I think, but you definitely came to one of the presentations and you were speaking up a lot. And I love that. You had a lot of input. I'm like, I have got to get her on InvestorYOU. So welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about you and your background, and then give us a little 411 on how you got into the investment world.
Sure. So I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I am a licensed broker. I own Emajin Realty, and I kind of started off on this journey in property management, believe it or not. And I did property management through the pandemic. And obviously that has a connection to our investors, because investors have real estate that they rent. And so working through the back channels that way, I got to know a lot of the investors and what they were looking for. So I have gone to a couple of property management companies and kind of undone their dumpster fires, so to speak. And one of them happened, and I walked in 3 weeks later, COVID hit. And so the dumpster fire became a crazy dumpster fire. So through all these different channels, I decided that once the moratorium was lifted, I had gone through evictions of families, and whoever's had to evict a family knows it's not fun. It is heartbreaking. So I had about 3, and then my last one left me with a 350-pound pig named Peanut in the backyard.
Oh my God.
Homes. So I got left with Peanut, and I had to find rescues for him. And it took me from fixing and flipping a lot of homes from the COVID side, because you couldn't really do much. And I just said, I'm going to take an emotional break, and went into fix and flipping, did 2 homes, and then opened my own brokerage in 22. Yep. Wow. And then, so lately what I've been working on is our creative financing. So that includes things like subject to and seller finance and hybrids of the both, and novations. These are all words that most people are not familiar with, but we teach it. So our community is the Orlando Sub-2 crew. And what we do is we provide free resources to people. We teach them. We meet every second Thursday of the month. We try and switch it up to different places, but we bring in all different people to talk about all different walks of life within the investment community. One of our biggest ones was 175 people, and we're different than most meetups. Yeah, we don't sit at tables and wait for people to talk. Like, we have a stage, and it's people are drinking and eating and having a good time and really networking with each other, because that's how you get jobs done, is together. So
it's fascinating, that whole world. The subject to, we've talked about sub 2. I'll just say subject to.
Yep, sub 2.
And I had to be explained it a few times, because it's not for the faint of heart, nor is it for the beginner, you really need to go to events. You need to work with pros. You need to network at these events to understand exactly what you're getting into, because somebody can make it seem easy, but it's not. So talk a little bit about what a subject to is, because I think it's good for us to educate them. Dumb it down as if you're speaking to Ted.
I got this. If I keep telling people, if they can't explain it to you, they don't know what's going on. So,
correct.
So what we do is we find homeowners that are in distress. They need to move quickly. They're in foreclosure, short sales, things like that, death in the family. They got a home. They don't know what to do with it, what have you. So what we do is they say, I have a mortgage on the home. Well, we look at their interest rate, because we just came off these historic lows and no one else is getting 3% interest. They're just not. So we go in and we take over these loans. We go in, we log into their bank account as them, but we take the property. So we are taking the loan subject to the seller's loan mortgage that's already in place. So that's the subject to part. So that means we take on their payment, we take on their insurance, we take on their taxes, we take on their interest rates. So we're getting properties right now at 2 and 3%. I have a property right now that we're going to be taking over subject to, and the payments like super cheap, but he's at 2.97%. And we're taking that over.
Awesome.
So we are acquiring these properties, and I can't buy them as fast as I'm acquiring them. So I wholesale the deal out, and I help investors around here start making money too. We just sold one in DeBerry, 5 plots, 3% interest, under $200,000. It was crazy, and wow. He's literally going to take the lot next to it, clear it, sell it off, and make his money back.
I have so many questions, right? So bear with me. So what's the risk? Because I think it's important people understand that, because there's a risk to everything, investing and anything that you do. But what's the risk? Why? Because there has to be some sort of risk other than the education part. You really have to know what you're doing. What's your risk as somebody who is going to get a subject to property?
Well, I'll tell you both for seller and buyer. So risks for seller are your credit could go to crap. You could have someone miss their payments and you get the house back. That's good, bad, but mostly, oh, you got the house back. Now you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
But for buyers, you always have the looming due on sale clause. Everybody knows what the due on sale clause is. So due on sale. So that's the real big issue. Seller could go and tell the bank, hey, I already sold that property. And they're like, wait, the mortgage is still in your name. Oh, no, I don't even own that property. The deed changed like 8 years ago. They'll call the note due because seller's still not living there. But I mean, there's ways around it. We have a lot of addendums that go through. I actually have a company that does TC, like it's actually my company. We do TCs for the creative deals because there are so many addendums, authorizations, power of attorney. It's a lot of paperwork. Yes. So the good side is seller, if they are in foreclosure, we have now taken them out of foreclosure and helped their credit and saved them from a foreclosure on their record. My last flip that I did, I saved the guy from foreclosure. He was in the middle of foreclosure. I did a bank BPO. He called me back and said, help me. I said, I can do this thing called subject to. We gave him $10,000, and that's more than the bank would have given him in foreclosure.
Wow.
So we ended up going in for a fraction, no offense, Derek, but a fraction of what hard money could have done for us.
Absolutely.
And you know, he had a 3.25% interest rate. So we paid the holding cost for the 6 months to flip it, and then we flipped it for a profit.
I love it.
Bank had no idea nonetheless, but we had paid up years and years, and it helped his credit score immensely.
You know, Mandi, I love it. I love what you said. There's no offense, because I tell folks all the time, if you can get a deal done cheaper than hard money, please do that. Exhaust all of your cheaper options before calling me. I love creative financing. I'm all for it. So no offense at all. I'm excited because you said something that when people ask me about it, you kind of, like you said, it's looming. You don't want to talk about the due on sale clause, but you have to talk about it. And if they don't know, they think it's all just peachy. Or even new investors that think, oh, this is great. Let's just run out here and go do it. Pause. Find someone like Mandi that knows all the documents that go in place so that you can kind of disarm certain things. Like I heard one of the kind of bigger names talk about how you want to always stay in touch with the sellers and, make sure you're sending cookies at Christmas and doing all those things because you want to keep this friend. Because at the end of the day, they could blow your deal up when they're ready to get back on their feet and go do something else. And I don't think a lot of people discuss the ugly side of it, which is just simply that. But if you approach it appropriately up front, I think you can build a portfolio for years to come with it.
Absolutely.
I
and
agree.
Just 100%, I am open. I'm an open book. You ask me anything about the transaction, the numbers, I will tell you everything. I am transparent as hell. I'm Casper. And that's because I don't either. But it's you have to be very transparent. In the world of wholesaling, there's a lot of people out there that are not telling the truth. And that will ruin relationships, which are more important than the deals anyways.
Absolutely.
So keep those relationships is really the key. But we have a couple of like workarounds for due on sale clauses that, you can put it into a land trust, and Hope Richards, my very favorite attorney in real estate, will always tell you that it's the best way to take over these subject to is in a land trust.
Yes, Hope. We love Hope. You came to our kazoo event, correct, Mandi?
Yep.
Yes, we were all doing the kazoo. Remember, Derek?
Yep.
That was great. Hope Richards is amazing.
I want to ask you.
I love her.
I want to call her again. I want to ask from a seller's perspective, again, just to educate me as if I know nothing, which is pretty close to the truth. What happens when they accept it and you've now taken over the mortgage payments? Do they have a certain time to get out of the house? Do they have to be out of the house before the transaction? How does that work? And I'm asking that because, in this environment, getting a rental place is not easy. It's costly and sometimes difficult. And if you've got any hits on your credit, it can be just a no from the get-go. So what does that look like from the seller's perspective?
So typically it's just like a regular transaction. We still use the FAR bar. Anyone that wants to be like, oh my God, subject to is illegal. It is line, I believe, 123 on the HUD. It's there. I didn't put it there. They did. So with all that being said, we usually can do either a lease back, like a regular transaction, or we just ask them to move out as if it was a regular transaction. If they're already not paying their mortgage, you really don't want to keep them in there to not pay you rent.
Correct.
And I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. And so they have to be prepared. It's a solution for them, but they also have to understand there's an out. They got to get out the house for the most part. And so they have to prepare for that. And you all have to do your due diligence. Yeah. Talk a little bit about seller financing, because you mentioned that. I hear that a lot. And I would wonder, as a seller holding that note, what's the feeling there, and how do you address that, and what are the advantages?
So we do a lot with seller finance. We actually did a whole call weekend. We had about 35 people show up. We gave them leads. They hit the phones, and we're teaching them how to cold call these people to do seller finance. What people are really unsure of with seller finance is someone going to make my payment? Is someone really truly going to make the payment? And the answer is yes. You vet them just like you would anybody else, but you understand that, like a realtor, we file as a 1099. So we look like we don't make that much money because we spend a lot in marketing and everything else. So we may not qualify for that traditional loan. We could still have an 800 credit score, but we look poor as heck. So it's a great way around it. You can still vet people. But what I tell them is, listen, we went to a teacher's house. She said, my pension looks like garbage right now. I'm tired. I want to get out. I just need a retirement plan. And we said, well, why don't you sell it to us on seller finance? And with that, we said, hey, we'll give you 4% interest, right? You're like, oh, that sounds really crappy when the normal is at 7 right now. But it's not an undoable thing. We just show them, these are your numbers. This is what you'll get monthly, just like you would as a retirement. And you're not taxed on the whole thing as a capital gain. So you actually get to tax it over time. And you don't have to worry about inside the house. It's easier than being a landlord because it doesn't matter what happens. The buyer has to take care of everything.
Right.
So by the time you're done with the 30 years of amortization, you're looking at almost double what you would have sold your home for between interest and principal. So if you have the money to be on seller finance and to, offer seller finance, I don't see why you wouldn't.
I go ahead.
Great.
You were gonna do this. Go ahead.
As I said, in general, there's still the foreclosures. There's still that issue of foreclosures, but we do offer the deed in lieu of foreclosure, the performance deed to be filed when we do closings. In case someone doesn't miss their payments, 2 payments, we take the house back. We do it with sub 2. We also do the performance deed. You miss 2 payments, we take the house back. We keep all the money you gave us. We get the house back, and we get to keep any rehab you've done in the house. We don't owe you a cent.
Wow.
So we can also take the sub 2 and mix it with seller finance, which we call a hybrid.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's so I feel like there's options out there. One of the reasons why we do this show is because we want people to know about the options, but we also want you to vet the professional that you're working with so that you understand where their experience is, how many transactions have they done, what are their resources, who are their back end people, their front end people, their all around people who are part of this with you, because there's a lot of, like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of, I'll say it, snake oil salesmen, charlatans out there that are promoting this. And if you don't know any better, you could trust somebody who does not have your best interest at heart. And if you try to do it just on your own, without any experience, I just think that's such a huge mistake. And so you want to get with people. And that's one of the reasons why we talk about
that's the recipe for the due on sale clause to be called, is doing it on your own with just willy-nilly.
I can't imagine, but it's the same people who will send money to the people in another country because of an email.
Of Nigeria, they've got about 100.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And it's just so people are immediately trust and they know how to feed on those people. So I want to encourage everyone to reach out to a professional like Mandi, like Derek, but like Mandi in this particular situation, because she has experience in this, and the way that she speaks about it is way over my head. So why would I ever want to do this on my own? But I also think it will bring, it's way over my little head. I would want it to bring the relief that a lot of people are looking for. And this is a solution for them. These are solutions and opportunities for them that they might not know that they have.
Yeah.
All right. So any parting words of wisdom for them, Mandi? What are you working on right now? You said you've got subject twos and all sorts of things.
I do. I usually put out on my private mailing list when I'm wholesaling these deals. So if you're trying to get in on these deals and really educate yourself on the creative side, even realtors as well, please, please, please have me come talk to your brokerage. I do it for free. Have me come teach your agents how to do creative or how to understand enough to give it to their sellers and how to truly present these things. We offer those free calling classes. We're going to start doing them twice a month after the new year. Our sub 2 crew is going to be buying a house to walk people through the actual process of flipping and how it works. And then everyone splits the profits at the end that paid in. And then our sub 2 crew is every month, every second Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. We've been at American Social lately, but we're switching it up.
You're at a bar. Now you're talking.
We have a lot of sponsors that pay for your tab if you end up showing up.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Mandi. How about you, Derek? What do you have working on that I've been pimping you out for?
Man, I don't even know where to start with you, Ted. I'm down in Venice one day. I'm right here in Orlando the next. But no, I love what we do and have a lot of fun with these bigger deals. We have a really fun 110 unit structure that we've been trying to hammer out, and we're inching close to this closing date. It's very fragile, so I don't like to talk about it until that HUD is in front of me and it's signed. But we're working on that one. Got a Venice duplex development down in, or a duplex development in Venice, right next to this golf course out there. That's super sweet. Doing a private loan on that to the investor, and then going to be the broker for the dispo side of that, which working on that structure for you. So there's a lot of things happening. The hard money stuff is always going. The bread and butter, fix and flips, and and Mandi, let me know if you're seeing this where your investors are buying property, they're putting work in, and they're refining to hold on to it because everybody wants to do their nightly rentals now, which is great because those are everywhere right now, and I'm loving those. Pretty simple, but the regular, man, the hard stuff. I get all the stuff that's on fire. So these gray hairs. All the deals are on fire that need to close in 3 days and need $3 million. Okay.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I'll figure it out. Let me figure it out. But no,
that's what you do best.
Of course, figure it out later.
That's right.
That's yes. It. We're going to finish the year strong. So
finish it strong. And I don't know if y'all know. Well, Derek knows. Maybe Mandi doesn't. I moved. I'm now at Dart Bank. I'm in 50 states.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Super excited for that. So on the traditional side, I'm excited to see what kind of doors that opens up, and they've been wonderful to me. So Mandi, thank you so much for coming on and sharing. Come back anytime. I want to go to one of your meetings where I can sit pop popcorn.
Definitely. I do too. Yeah, I've been invited, Mandi. Oh, I'm sorry.
I love it. No, I love it. And I love you, Derek, for doing all you're doing. I appreciate you both so much. You guys, if you have an investing type person that you'd love to have on the show, please reach out to me or Derek. We'd love to have them on, and y'all get out and support Mandi. Mandi's website is scrolling across the bottom. Derek's is also scrolling there, and you can find me on Linktree at any moment in time. Thank you guys so much for coming on. That was awesome.
Thank you.
I appreciate you both. All right, everybody have a good one. We'll see you.